Show us your tips. Progrit Racing, Daggy and Beaver with you to look at Inglis Millennium Day from Randwick, as well as the supporting Caulfield card. Beaver, what's going on, mate?
Oh, mate, just reading the form, mowing the lawns, all that kind of stuff, mate.
Living the
Preparing
dream.
for the weekend. Yeah, living
good.
the dream, if that's what you want to call it.
Something like that. Hopefully, we're at Randwick for a good card, a really good card, actually. Hopefully, I think something like there's been one win off the rails in the last 2.5 weeks or something in Sydney. So hopefully we don't see that again tomorrow. It was the same story at Kenzo on Wednesday, unfortunately, which put a lot of our stuff out of action. But Reggie Wood was a nice win. I suppose must be a horse to follow just about.
Yeah, it was the only one that really come down the middle of the track, but maybe that's something to do with the staying races. But yeah, it wound up quite nicely. It took a while to get going, but once it did, hit the line pretty good.
I think, bias are probably a little bit less active in staying races, but we head to Randwick. We're going to try it again with the Rail True. It will be a good track by the day. I would suspect that there's a little bit of drizzle around, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. Hopefully it helps it play all right. But we kick off with the 2-year-old Lonhro Plate over the 1,000. I tossed and turned as what to do here. Are you with or against Lady Laguna?
Yeah, I stuck with it. I was a little bit the same as you. I tossed and turned and went back and tried to find something to beat it, but I just thought its last start win was too good, and it's going to be on pace. That kind of leads me to thinking that it might get its own way and be hard to beat.
Yeah, I've ended up putting on top as well. It obviously romped in on the wet track there, but I set out to get it beat and couldn't. I thought the main danger was Spacewalk, stuck 4 wide on debut. Both trials either side of that run have been pretty good, the blue colours there. But Lady Laguna on top. We're interested to see what's actually under the bonnet. And I just couldn't really find anything away from it, which was the major problem. So
that was the same as me.
Yeah. Which what have you made the 2-year-old so far? Apart from Coolangatta, there's just nothing jumping out for me.
Oh, look, the thing that ran second to Coolangatta was pushed it all the way. It was a nice run, but that's, they beat the rest by a country mile, and nothing's really jumped out of the ground at the moment to tell us anything different. But plenty of time left before Slipper.
Yeah, we're gonna get into real lead ups now. Race 2, the Highway. Anything here?
No, I've left this one alone. Keen to see the participator, how it goes, but this is a pretty open race, and nothing for me.
Race 3 is the Midway over the mile, where I'm a bit keen here, actually. The French Emperor was a nice return. We both had interests in it heading towards a derby, I believe it was last prep. Great form around, or good 3-year-old form. Resumed with a nice win at Kembla, and I think probably has if it lives up to my opinion, has a fair bit on this field, especially because I started looking towards horses like Ice Crusher and Trajection and horses like that. Otherwise, I thought, well, the up-and-comer lightly raced is easy to put on top. If I'm going to have a forgive there, pecuniary interest, you can forgive on the wet track failure where it misses start in the listed race back here. May run well if track suits, but French Emperor on top for me, Beaver. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on it as well. If I go back to last preparation, when it won its maiden, they took it to Goulburn, short price, won very convincing there, and then straight away stepped it up in some pretty good races. Rosehill, Randwick, likes of Head of State and Profonda, and acquitted itself quite nicely. First up was very good at Kembla Grange. Once it let down, it was way too good for them. Had the inside barrier there. It's drawn wide here. That's probably the only thing going against it and where it'll get to in running. But I think this might have a little bit on these.
Hope so. Race 4 is 1,000 metre benchmark 94. What have you done here? Good little race, actually.
It is a good little race here. I've gone for the second favourite, Kalos, from the Cummings stable. Liked its first 2 runs last preparation. Hawkesbury and then Flemington was pretty good. Slightly beating General Bow, then was slightly disappointing behind Home Affairs in a pretty good race. I think that was on Derby Day.
It was a Group 1, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Group 1. It wasn't asked to do much in its trial and was only a couple of lengths off Lost and Running, which we know how good it is. I think the 1 gate suits here, and may just get the sit on Malkovich and go on by. So for me, Kalos, hardest to beat.
I'm not going to add much more. I agree. I agree with everything you've said. I like the trial just quite long behind Lost and Running. I like the way it blew him away fresh up down in Melbourne last time against some okay horses, and then went to the Coolmore, as we discussed. So on top for me as well. I think it's a fair enough bet, and happy to take on Malkovich. Wisdom Water, I'm not interested in. Race 5, the mile.
It's got to give it 5 just before you move on.
Yeah.
It's got to give Malkovich is giving Kalos 5.5 kilos. That's a good pull in the weights for me.
According to the
Plus
Racing
the better barrier.
Yes, Racing New South Wales map has it leaders back as well, which is great. And Hugh Bowman is riding as well as he has in probably 12 months at the moment. He's on fire. So lots of ticks for Kalos. Let's hope it's good enough, because I do have a slight concern over the 3-year-olds. But race 5 is the mile benchmark 78, where I end up hating all the form here. So I went away from the Sydney form and looked at Through Irish Eyes. I know it's probably looking for a little bit longer, but competed in some pretty good stuff there down in Melbourne, and a nice fresh trial at Gosford against a couple of okay horses. So showed a bit of freshness for this. I think can give you a bit of a sight. What price is it actually? Just bring my prices up.
$5.50.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Happy to be with that. I thought if I was going to look away from it, maybe Mr. G at double figures, but I just decided to put a big pen through all the racing form and all the rate currently in the work horses. Otherwise, what have you done?
I mean, I could almost repeat your word for word. I thought exactly the same, to be honest. Looking through the field here, look, it was, the form that you're looking at was hard to really get a line on. These are pretty inconsistent horses that pop up every now and then. As you said, Through Irish Eyes is probably, I would expect looking for further, but 1600 could be spot on for it first up. It's got McDonald aboard and Mar Eustace. Well, we just know how good they are at getting these horses ready. So if there's any chinks in the armours here, which I suspect there are, this one could be getting home too well for them.
I like it. In agreement for the last couple of races. We head to race 6, the feature on the card, the $2 million? $2 million Inglis Millennium restricted listed race. The couple lead in market. Well, what have you done here, Beaver? This is a thick field. To be honest, wasn't interested in the Canterbury lead up, and I'm still a bit unsure about the Sajardin form. What have you done?
Yeah, this is one of the hardest races I think I've ever done the form for and tried to line up, because they've all got pretty solid form, and some even around each other, where they've finished first, second, second, first, or third. So yeah, look, a really difficult race. I settled on Paris Dior, just with natural improvement there. I thought its first up run was pretty good, and then at Warwick Farm, and then come out and killed him at Canterbury. And I think there's some natural improvement there. It'll go forward from the gate, and just try and get in somewhere there. So I liked it, but I didn't rule out some others at odds that I thought I was pretty keen to play around as well, which was Extravagant Star from the McAvoy stable. I thought its first up run was quite nice at Geelong, stuck on really well there after leading, and was well fancied in the market. And Emperor, I thought it resumed really nicely at Randwick against Plim Stock, and was in the market as well. And prior to that was pretty good in its first prep, behind Sajardin and Zambezi River, ran third. And so it won't have to have improved a lot to be right in the finish as well.
Yeah, I've gone outside the market. I've got Calgary Stampede on top. Nice debut win. Had a little bit of a smother in one night, well enough there. Then was stuck outside lead in the nursery and it was quite brave and nabbed late by El Padrino. Trial since in its 20s. Happy to find out because I just didn't had an icky feeling of a Canterbury leader into a 2-year-old feature, but I've been wrong before. Canterbury, and you've got to then obviously pay respect to El Padrino, who beat it, who did have the cold sit on it. Thought Calgary had a much tougher run and was pretty good. I like what you said about Emperor. Around the 20s again is one that I'll be looking at. And maybe Sajardin is good and I'm just underrating it. But I'd gone outside the market there and happy to take my chances. It's not like there's at the time, a profiteer or someone stamping this race like there has been the last few years. Race 7 kicks off the quaddie, benchmark 78 over the 1,300 metres, where my best of the day comes up here. I like the resumption of joviality here, and J-Mac goes on for whoever wrote it first up. I just didn't write down who was in fact J-Mac. So J-Mac sticks, but had a little bit of, I've had enough of Saigon by now. Definitely had enough of Steel Diamond by now. And I thought the main danger was Van Giz, who came off the rails on the rails day last week and then got beaten by the horse going up the rails. A 7-day back up here puts it in the game, but 7 from 3 for me.
Yeah, I stuck with joviality as well. I'm hoping it's back to its best. Did have some good form prior to last couple of preps, and then went off the boil a bit and showed its back to some of its hopefully form that it produced many starts ago, and to run that close to Rule of Law. If Rule of Law was in this, it'd be odds on. So if joviality can produce anything like we know it can, it should take care of these.
Race 8 is the 1,200 metre Group 3 Eskimo Prince Stakes, where we see a lot of the headline 3-year-olds resuming. A little bit of a feel that maybe none of them are any good, starting to get. But what have you done with this race?
Paul Eel is one of my favourite horses. Just think it goes good. Was outstanding last preparation. Probably should have won the 2 races that it ran second off leader bias tracks, or just a bit not great luck in running. Its last run before it was put out at Spell just didn't go down at Flemington. I expect it to be fresh and well prepared for this. Gate 5's perfect. Super hard to beat.
Yeah, on top for me. You've covered off pretty well. End of prep run, perhaps in the Coolmore. Till then was only beaten by track bias. So happy to have it on top. And 2 horses to watch. How's my sound? Is that all right? Just sounds like
yeah, it's good.
Yep, no worries. 2, second in the market, Converge trialled quite well, and I had a couple of looks at Mauto, who has been scratched as of 4 o'clock this afternoon. So, yesterday actually. Paulie on top, easy for me to back actually.
It's in the net. It's in the next, mate.
That's why. That's right. That's what I was thinking of. Alrighty, yeah, Paulie hard to beat. The benchmark 78, 1,200 metres, where I had a couple of looks at Mauto as advertised, but Solar Impact on top for me here, where I really liked the way it was able to sit back and charge through the line. We've seen it sort of get away on pace the last few times, but really nice resumption. I assume gate 2 means it's going to be a lot closer, and who's going to beat it is Mauto is the only danger, but I thought this was an easy bet for me to have as well. What have you done?
100%. Same analysis as you, mate. I think this jumps well, sits close enough to the pace, and it's too good there in the straight. Probably one of the better bets on the card for me.
Very good. In a lot of agreements on Saturday, Beaver, so hopefully we're making a lot of money. Let's wrap up the day with the mile. Benchmark 100, I believe it is. That's handicap. The lead up is the listed race from a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if it gave us too many answers here. What have you made of it?
Yeah, I've settled on Frosty Rocks with Jamie Carr aboard. I think it gets control here. I think it can control the pace. I think third up now. It gets to peak fitness. 1,600 will suit. It'll be able to control the pace. And if it has nobody attacking it, then I think it can get away and hold them off in the last 100.
You get concerned when you've got so many Waller runners that one of them won't go forward, and I suppose only two. It's not as bad as usual. No, fair enough too. Bjorn in the last. I have gone to Waller though. I've gone to No Compromise on top. Like the way it did have the rail in its favour when it did charge through the line, but it was fastest. I think it was fastest last 200 of the race last time in the lead up. Goes from Alicia Collett to J Mac, and drawn for a nice blending draws around $11 this afternoon. And I thought Mighty Bill was a danger. Has been flying. It's honest trial since. Over the month off, and I should assume resumes for this. They are the two for me in the last. Take on Bjorn there. Should I do the Sydney Quaddie? Or do you want to have a crack at it?
You can do the Sydney Quaddie, mate. It's all yours.
For progretracing.com.au, the Sydney Quaddie on Inglis Millennium Day, I'm going to go with 3 and 7 in the first leg. That's Van Giz and Joviality. Second leg, I'm going to go with 2 Converge, 4 Paul Ely, and that'll do me. Yeah, that'll do me. Nice and skinny so far. Race 9, I'm going to go with 13 Silent Impact, 10 Mautai, and I'll throw 7 Soami in just for some cover there. And we'll finish with 2 Purple Sector, 3 Lure Me In, 4 Frosty Rocks, 6 Mighty Beal, 7 Steely, 8 Through the Cracks, 10 No Compromise, and 12 Lakeen just because it's a pest. So nice and skinny, and we'll come home with most of the field in the last. Hopefully we're still live. For Progress Racing, again, your best in value, Beaver.
Yeah, my value bet comes up in race 10, number 4, Frosty Rocks. And my best bet comes up in race 9, number 13, Silent Impact.
I like it. I actually had my best as French Emperor. So there you go in the midway, according to my notes. But I do think Joviality is hard to beat. And my value is No Compromise in the last as well. Let's head to Caulfield, where at least half the card isn't as interesting as Randwick was. The rail is in the 9 metre mark. Good track. We'll just keep an eye out for any on-pace stuff there at Caulfield. But Caulfield's been quite good for a long time now. So we'll see how we go with the start of the day. A bunch of benchmark 70s, starting with a 1400 metre one. Do you want to lead us away here?
Yeah, I've gone for the favourite here, Manouche. I think it was scratched yesterday to run on Saturday. That's a good pointer for me. Damien Oliver aboard. 2 starts back, 1 in Sydney, now down into Caulfield where it ran well last start. So it can handle the track, and I think it'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, on top for me, I thought the main danger at odds was Mingora, who's put a couple together now. I know in much weaker company, but they've both been stylish enough. But Manouche on top in race 1. Race 2, 1800 metre benchmark 70. Much less interest here. Did you like the favourite, or you looking at something else?
I looked away from the favourite. I was a bit worried about the price, and then I kind of came back to it purely off the fact that it gets out to that extra 400 metres now to the 1800, up from the 1400, and it flew home last start. It was drawn wide and stormed home, and its form in Great Britain was pretty good. So I think it will be certainly one of the hardest to beat in this. When I looked for something to beat it, Hasseltoff was disappointing last start. Irish Butterfly, same, finding it hard to win. I thought Flanders Rain could be a danger if it got back to some of the form it showed last preparation, and now it's third up, could be the main danger. But based on last run and its previous form, worthily for me, maybe the price is okay.
Maybe, because the more I think about this, the more the rest of the form, or hasn't been formed for probably 2 preparations, or that Derby, like Flanders Rain, Signs Still Deliver, go round and round. By default, probably on top, but I don't like the price for Worthily. Perennial has always been one of mine. Our 1800 metres suits, but I don't really want to talk about this race too much longer. Don't really want to talk about this next one either. 2400 metre benchmark 78. I struggled to line these up, but I sort of ended up with Dirty Deeds on top, just honest, and with Linda Meach will probably roll forward, but struggled to really line up a lot of these. Beaver, did you have any better clarity?
No, I think that's about right, mate. But I went for Miss 500. Last start was good. Had a nice run in transit and put its best, been okay, better than average, and then put in its best run last start. I think it's the track suits and could get from this draw, get the right run in transit and around the double figure odds. I thought it was some nice value.
Fair call. Race 4 is a 1,000-meter chairman's group race for the 2-year-olds, where I have gone with the race form of Reynoso, 2 nice runs against Brereton, and first time was beaten by Kiki Express, but 2 impressive runs to date. And if I'm looking at exposed form, that was the way I went. But with a couple unraced and maybe a trick or 2 up someone's sleeve, no real confidence. Have you got any more confidence than I?
Yeah, I went the same way. I went for Reynoso. Same reasons you've pointed there, a bit of money for it now as well, which is a good pointer. I thought the main danger was equivocal. If there is one here, I thought it could maybe push the favourite, but favourite on top for me.
Race 5 is the Group 3 Manfred for the 1,200, over the 1,200 metres for the 3-year-olds. Paul Lele will come out and take out probably 30-odd% of the market with it. I have ended up with Generation on top off the win at Mooney Valley, couple of nice jump outs leading up to this, and we'll roll forward from that gate and be pretty close to on pace. Anyone that follows the show knows you've got a bit of opinion of Marine One, and I've seen a bit of a spruik round lately for Zethus as well, who's 30s and might be a sneaky blue colour chance here. What have you done?
Yeah, I've stuck with Marine One. I think it gets the right draw here. Chase Home in the boat last start, in the boat since come out and won, and it was only just beat by In the Boat, and In the Boat come out last start and absolutely killed him.
Yeah.
Was super again. So I think anything running to within, a long neck to In the Boat is going well. This horse has a number of wins under its belt. It's still learning. It's still a bit green, but I think it can win this race with the right run.
Race 6 kicks off the quaddie, benchmark 78 over the 1,400 metres. And, well, help me out here.
Yeah, tricky race again, open race. I've stuck with Groovy Kinda Love. Its form this preparation's been pretty good. Probably should have won first up, and then came out after that and won fairly convincingly at Ballarat by 3.5 lengths. Slightly disappointing when it went to Flemington, but then Pakenham last start, probably should have won that as well. Didn't have much luck in running there, and was only just beaten by Under My Spell, which I think is also in this race. It is. So I think it can turn the tables on it, and I've like Groovy Kinda Love.
I've gone with Under My Spell, the horse that beat it, actually. Its runs this prep have all been pretty good. The win there, then just missed by an American Angel, then not far off Dark Dream and Somerset Morn, which reads okay coming back to the girls' grade, but no real confidence here. Gargani was a nice enough resumption. So, yeah, 2 for me on top, but not a race I'm going to be diving headlong into. Race 7 is the 1,800 metre benchmark 100 on the card. I've gone with a Sydney form here, a Desert Icon coming down after just missing at Randwick. I think can roll forward and give you a decent sight. And I just didn't know how to line half of these field up, or half the field aren't going that good. And then the only decision was whether Ho Ho Khan, you take last week's win on face value, or you decide the rest of the race is no good, which either way, I was happy to look for different form, which is the way I went. Criminal Code to go on my quaddie. What have you done?
I've gone the Ho Ho Ho.
It was a nice
Ho Ho Khan with Talia Hope. So lots of ho-hos there. Yeah, I think it can be really hard to beat. I don't think its run 2 starts back in Sydney was as bad as it looks. Had a tricky gate that day, and then came out last start and won really well. down at Geelong. I think it, not Geelong, at Caulfield, trialled well at Geelong. I think it can come out and run a really good race again, and thought around the $6 mark was a good price. So for me, Ho Khan on top.
Cool. Race 8, the benchmark 78, 1100 meters. Are you putting the Garden on top here?
No, I'm not.
Okay, what have you done?
Yeah, I was a bit concerned about the Garden. I thought first up, gate 14, I was just trying to work out where it's going to get to in running, and if it gets in. I think it does run its best races from in front, and I'm a bit worried that it may have to be used up a little bit here from gate 14, and they may take it on a bit. And for that reason, I've settled on Evening Glory. I thought its first up run at Caulfield was pretty good. Sat off them and only just got pipped by Scorched Earth, which I think was a good run. And then last time in last prep in was pretty consistent behind some decent races. It ran 2.5 lengths behind Elephant at Caulfield back in August. So I think that kind of form is fairly consistent and can sort of put it in for as a big chance in a race like this.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about it now because I passed it the first time around, but you make a good point. I did put the Garden on top with reservations, which is probably why you might even get $5 in a day, but is a lightly race, consistent horse. Track pattern will come into play here as well. I thought the two outside, or the two at odds that interest me with those concerns was Fast Coney coming down from Sydney. No luck last time. I think a race like this fits pretty well for it, and the kind of draw. And
I thought the same, and I looked at Fast Coney and I wanted to find a spot for it, and then I just kept going back and going, oh, it just never wins.
Yeah, I know. So, but he has a habit of just sending them to Melbourne at the right time to find one, like getting the one out of the way. So that's why I had talked myself in there, and it's just the sort of race that Zorro's Dream will pop up and win in just to annoy me. So I'll have a saver on it at the 20s. It'll be, I think $5. You can get an each way price on the Garden though. I think it'll run well. But you've made a really good case for Evening Glory, and I'll make sure to include it in what I do now. We wrap up the day with the 78. We probably don't need to talk too much about this. Tuvalu's a good horse. It won like a good horse resuming. It will roll forward and hopefully win like a good horse again. And I think we'll see it go on to some bigger and better things. Do you have a different opinion at all?
No, mate, that's exactly the way I'm looking at it, mate.
Cool. That makes that race nice and easy because my best of the day is Tuvalu. And before I get to your quaddie, so I don't forget, but my value on the card, I'll make it the two in the 8th there that I mentioned, Zorro's Dream and Fast Coney, if you want one to play at a price. Give us your quaddie and then your best in value.
I'll give you my value and best first. So my value bet is race 3, number 9, Miss 500, around the double figure odds in race 3. And my best is Tuvalu as well in race 9, number 2. I think it'll be hard to beat. The quaddie was a tricky one, to be honest, but let's have a crack and see how we go. We'll go wide in a couple of legs, and Skinny will be finishing off very skinny. So my numbers are 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10.
Yep.
In the second leg, we're going to go numbers 1, 2, 3, and 10. In the third leg, we're going to go number 2, number 4, number 7, number 11, number 13, and number 18. And in the last leg, we're just going to go straight out number 2.
Very good. I like it. I think you've covered off pretty well there. I might given I've given Jumbo Ozaki life, I might throw Criminal Code in instead. But
I've given it life too, but it's time I give it life. I don't put
I
in a
know
quaddy and he
that's
goes,
fine.
all right.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand exactly. So a bit of sanity in saving there. What have you got up north for us, Beaver? Anything up there? It looked tough to me.
Mate, you're spot on it. It was very tough up at Doomben. I didn't have a lot, but I did find a couple that were worth having a bit of a nudge at. Just find those for you. Race 3, number 1, Axe. I think it can run. It's been racing in much better company than this, so I think it can come back to the winner's store here around the $5 mark. Should be hard to beat. Then I liked race 6, number 10, Rich Lister, which is resuming again about the $4.55 mark. And then my other one was race 7, number 5, Paladas, about $3.
Yeah. Very good. I like it, Beaver. Good job. And we will talk to everyone. Good luck tomorrow, punters, I should say, first of all. Check out progretracing.com.au for all their free tips, extensive guides, plenty more. Subscribe, give them, and jump on their mailing list on their website so you get notified when this show comes out each and every week. Good luck tomorrow, Beaver. I will talk to you Tuesday night for our midweek show. And good punting, guys.